What's up, everyone? My name is Taylor Moore here with,
Corey Spivey.
and this is the BALListic Report. So, before we preview the AFC and the NFC championship coming up tomorrow, um, earlier this week, AJ Brown went on live, man, and he was saying
Yeah,
that he just had surgery on both his knees, and also that he was supposed to be done by week 2. Corey, what you think about that?
yeah. It kind of came out of left field, bro. I mean, it's not very characteristic of him to like ever. I mean, he's an out there guy. Like he's a guy that's gonna speak his mind. Say what he's got to say, not be apologetic for it. But I mean, it kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I knew he was having problems with like his injuries and things like that, but I didn't know that he was gonna need 2 surgeries and or whatever's going on. But like, I don't know. I think that was something that should have been kept to itself. But I mean, I know he was saying he was under the anesthesia and all that type of stuff. I don't know what was going on with that. It was one of those things that it was really wacky. Like I said, it came out of third field.
Mhm.
I'm hoping he's okay. I mean, he was a guy that played through a lot of that stuff, so I think that he'll bounce back. But 2 surgeries is something to keep your eye on, especially this early in somebody's career.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I know Mike Vrabel didn't like that at all.
No.
And I mean, I think there's going to be some maybe minor repercussions for that. I think he'll learn from this. He'll move on. Hopefully, he recoups fast and comes back because, with Corey Davis, being a question mark going forward, he's going to have to be a guy that leads this locker room offensively. I mean, Tannehill is probably that leader of this offense, but I mean, AJ Brown's going to be that number one receiver moving forward, so he's going to have to held to a high standard. He's going to have to be more careful. He's going to have to take care of his body. And I don't know, man. It's just one of those weird things that just came out of nowhere, man. Like, what were your thoughts?
Man, like honestly, man, because it was so crazy, bro. Because I know, even like watching games throughout the season, he'll have like one big
Yeah,
play, he'll hit the ground, and then he's getting up slowly. So I'm thinking, like, okay, is he okay?
yeah,
Like, what's going on? So that had to be the case then, man. But that's just
right.
crazy to think that, you've been done since week 2, and like week 2, man, that's still with it, like I think it's like September, October, man. So just think about you were
Yeah,
fighting through another 2 to 3 months on bad knees, man. But
yeah,
I will say now, man, like with technology and with rehab, and he's still young, I think he can recover from it, man. But I hope he takes his time throughout the rehab process and he gets right, man, because like you said, man, having surgery on both your knees for his age,
yeah,
it doesn't sound good, man. But at the same time, the fact that he's just in his second year is a good thing. So he should be able to go through rehab successfully. So I'm hoping he does come back, man, because man, like with Corey Davis might be leaving. Hey, we have to depend on him more heavily, man. So if that's the case, man, he's gonna get extra work, extra reps throughout the season, man. So I hope it doesn't backfire on him, and then ultimately hurt the Tennessee Titans by him not playing in the future.
yeah, definitely. So when you think about he's one of those freaks of nature. He's so big, he's so bulky, so strong, but he's also so quick, so twitchy. So it's kind of like one of those things where your playing style doesn't really complement his body or his build. So like you said, we're just hoping that he can go ahead and bounce back. Would
Mhm.
like to have kept seeing him go on throughout the playoffs and,
Yeah.
and, and lead this team, but we know how that all ended. But
Mhm.
as we segue into teams that took care of business, they've moved through the wild card, the divisional round, their first round buys, and now here we are to the conference championships. As we preview this thing, let's start with the AFC side of the ball. Chiefs Bills coming up this weekend. What's your thoughts on that game?
Man, number one, Patrick Mahomes is cleared to play. Man, I know
Right.
throughout the whole week they kept talking about, hey, he might miss out on the game, man. Or they were talking about prolonging the game another week. I'm thinking to myself, it's just one player, man. They're gonna have to keep playing regardless if
Right.
he is or not. But I'm glad he is playing just for the hype of the game, also for the TV ratings. But man, it's hard to go against the Chiefs, man. It's really hard to go against the Chiefs. They
Yeah.
have a lot of weapons. They have a decent running game that does just enough to keep the defense guessing. But
Yeah.
man, when Patrick Mahomes has that ball in his hand, he gets to flinging it, and man, and the crazy thing about it is that man, when he throws the ball, it's weird sometimes, but
Right.
he's still he's still making plays, man. So really, it's one of those things where I think that if they're able to control the time of possession with the Bills, and if they're able to pressure Mahomes, then they may have a solid chance at getting to him. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, man, the Chiefs, like the team is perfectly set up right now, man. They have a solid tight end. They have a nice um, couple set of receivers. You have Tyreek Hill. You have McCole Hardman, Sammy Watkins. Man, you have a plethora of receivers who can go out and get the ball. So, so I already know Allen and Diggs, they're gonna
Yeah.
have that connection, man, because they haven't been missing a step since week one. So, so I know that they're going to get their own. But who else from the Bills side is going to step up uh, from an offensive standpoint, and then from the defensive standpoint, like I said, you have to pressure Mahomes, but at some point, it's some plays that are just gonna be given up just to the fact
Yeah.
that they're so talented from the Chiefs offensive side of the ball. What you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those matchups that's going to be with the concussion protocol is what throws a wedge in all of this thing. Like without the concussion protocol, Mahomes is a guy that's very versatile. But I think with him being, he's been clear for the concussion protocol, but I think they're still going to have to be very safe with him, especially if they're going to look at being in the Super Bowl. They're going to have to protect him and not, throw him into spaces, running the football where he can get banged up, or the quarterback sneaks, the options and things like that, where he can be easily thrown into danger. So I think that they're going to limit his versatility. Um, but I think he'll still throw the ball very well. I think they're going to be really good at protecting him. But I think the Bills are going to try to get after him. But I think he'll be able to still move the ball around. Andy Reid's one of those guys who's very creative with his offense. So I think he'll find a way to work to Patrick Mahomes' strengths that he's seen throughout practice. Like you said, they've got a wide array of receivers that are going to be able to find open zones, find mismatches. Even though the Bills do have a decent secondary, especially at safety, I just think that they got too many weapons that can, Patrick Mahomes can consistently find. You talked about on the other side of the ball with the Bills. That's my main concern. I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit against this Chiefs offense. Hopefully they'll run a little bit more than they did last week. But ultimately, I think, I look at Josh Allen. As much as I love Ryan Tannehill, he reminds me of Ryan Tannehill. They play a little different, but when it comes down to the lights are big, they're putting you on the hot seat. I'm just not sold on Josh Allen being one of those guys that can take the Bills beyond, the defending champs into the Super Bowl. I think that the lights are going to be really bright on him. I wish the best for him, but I just don't think he or this Bills Mafia has enough to get past this Chiefs team. And so, ultimately, I think I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game over the Bills. I've got a score prediction of 30-24. Um, like I said, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be limited in the run, but I think that they're just going to find a way to win defensively and offensively. Coaching staff, I think they're going to be able to equal out 30-24. What was your score prediction?
Man, I have 35-31, man.
Okay.
I mean, like personally, I think the game probably be like a little bit closer than what we're thinking, and that's for me. I think, man, because I know just watching the last game against the Browns, man, and the thing is that you can't really like compare Baker Mayfield to Josh Allen, man, because they
Right.
both have a different arm strength, man. Just the fact, man, that the defense kind of kept like the Chiefs in the game a little bit. I mean, kind of kept the Browns in the game for a little bit,
Right.
So I'm thinking that if the Bills can somehow pressure Mahomes and also have some type of containment on him, then the game will probably be closer than what it is, man. Because I know that Josh Allen can throw that ball, but like you
Yeah.
said, he's gonna make a lot of risky passes too, So I'm hoping that the passes he make are not intercepted, man. So if he can take care of the ball, I think the game will probably be close, man. So I have the Chiefs still making it out 35-31 though.
Yeah. You talked about them being able to get pressure on and contain them. I think they're going to have to cut their nose to spite their face on one of those things. I think if they're going to be able to get pressure, they're going to have to bring more guys out of the secondary. And if you bring guys out of the secondary, we saw what happened in last year's AFC Championship with the Titans. They went after Mahomes and it worked well, but I think they compromised too much on the backside. And when you compromise too much against the backside against these receivers, it's going to be very dangerous. So I'm going to be interested to see how McDermott and that defensive side of the ball find a way to be, get creative, because, he's a young, innovative coach. And, this Chiefs team, as you said last week, they showed that they can be had, even though Patrick Mahomes was gone. If McDermott and this defensive staff can find a way to be creative and get enough pressure and still not compromise too much in the back end, I think I wouldn't be very surprised at all if the Bills found some way to capitalize on mistakes and win this game. So this may be the most exciting game. But as we switch over to the NFC, as we move into the game, before we give our score predictions, let's talk about who has more on the line for this game. Do you think it's Brady leaving the Patriots trying to stick it to Bill Belichick, or do you think it's Aaron Rodgers who's trying to get back to his second Super Bowl in his career? Who has more pressure on him in this game?
Man, all right, so they both have pressure. Just the fact that, like you said, Tom Brady, he has a new coach for the first time in his life, basically.
Right.
So it's kind of like, all right, I know I can win without you, Bill Belichick, but let me show you I can. So that's something that definitely stands out. And also just the fact that the Tampa Bay will be hosting the Super Bowl too, man. So it's that pressure of, hey, we can have an extra home field advantage just by having the Super Bowl in our backyard. So
Right.
why not take care of business and go to Green Bay so we can have this home field advantage? But from Aaron Rodgers' standpoint, he's been successful in the playoffs, but at the same time, the last time he won a Super Bowl was when? It's been a while, man. So
Right.
that's what, man. That's why at the same time, like, everyone knows that he's going to a Hall of Fame. He's an all-time great quarterback. But at the same time, if he can win another Super Bowl, that can separate him even more from the best of the best. If he win this second Super Bowl, then hey, he can be more separated from, let's say, Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And we know Drew Brees is one of the greats, but he just has one Super Bowl with the rosters he's been having over the past few years, and just having one Super Bowl. It's kind of like, hey, you're a great quarterback, but
Yeah.
from everything that you have surrounding you for the team, we're kind of expecting you to maybe have two or three. And with Aaron Rodgers, man, he has home field advantage right now, playing
Yeah.
against Tom Brady, man. So hopefully he can be able to get his revenge back, because we know when Green Bay went to Tampa Bay earlier this season,
Yeah.
man, that first drive, Aaron Rodgers, he did that a discount double check move and all that pumping and all of that. After that, he went downhill. And it was embarrassing to watch. So I know Aaron Rodgers in the back of his mind, like, hey man, I have something to prove. That earlier season game, that was a fluke. Let me show him why I'm one of the greats. So, but if I had to choose, based on what you asking me, I would still say Tom Brady, man. Because the thing is that even though Bill Belichick has probably been tough on Tom Brady throughout the years, they won six Super Bowls. So something had to work, and something was working in order for him to win six Super Bowls. But yeah, I would say Tom Brady. What about you?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on a lot of those points. You look at the fact that, especially at the beginning of the season, they both seem to be struggling without each other when you think about Brady and Belichick. Belichick didn't have a quarterback. He didn't have receivers, which was part of the reason Tom Brady was okay with going ahead and going down to Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's a guy that I think he realized, even though he's still probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL right now, he was completely out of weapons in New England. So I think it was okay for him to say, you know what, I got to go somewhere where I'm going to have talent. I'm going to have a defense that's at least able to, hold guys to, limited amounts so I can work. But you look at the weapons that he has in Tampa Bay with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown is going to be out tomorrow. Gronkowski, I mean, Scotty Miller, these guys go on and on and on and on and on. I don't think that we're seeing as much as how good he is without Belichick. I think we're seeing how good he is with talent. But on the other side of the question, Bill Belichick has been completely embarrassed, without having Tom Brady, but he didn't have any forward thinking in mind after Tom Brady. So, they've both been suffering from that. But on the other side of the coin, you talked about that game that Aaron Rodgers had against Tampa Bay earlier. I think they got up 10-zip very quick.
Mm-hmm.
He was celebrating, and it looked like they were going to run away with this game. And then he threw the first pick six, and then he threw the second near pick six, and the game flipped over on his head, and he never seemed to get anything back going. So I think he has a lot on his plate moving forward. He's only got one Super Bowl. He's been to, I think, 3 NFC championships, and he's been losing. He hasn't been having just enough to get over the top. He's finally got a decent defense, a very good defense on some occasions. He's got Matt LaFleur. He's got Devontae Adams. Lazard is back. He's got these weapons. So I'm going to lean more towards, I think Aaron Rodgers has more to prove. He has more pressure on him in this game, simply because of the collapse earlier in this year and the fact that he's only got one Super Bowl and he's trying to establish himself as one of the great quarterbacks. So I'm going to lean forward more of Aaron Rodgers having more on his plate as far as pressure, something to prove moving forward. But as we preview this game, incorporating coaching staffs and defenses, special teams, all this, how do you see this game faring out, and what's your prediction of who's going to win this game?
Man, honestly, this can go either way. But I'll put it like this. The game is going to be based on the quarterback play. Man, because the defense are both like around the middle of the pack. Man, with the Bucks defense, they have one of the top run defense in the league, man. So I know that they're going to be able to contain Aaron Jones a little bit. But at the same time, just the fact that, and I hate bringing them in like the weather, but, Tom Brady is used to it, so he's used to the cold.
Mm-hmm.
But the other players, I can't say that about Mike Evans, who has played in Tampa Bay all his career. So he's used to the good warm weather, so I don't know how it's going to affect him completely, but just the fact that this is the NFC Championship, I don't want to include like the weather too much, man, because at the end of the day, hey, you got to get your mind right, and we're trying to win so we move on to the Super Bowl. But
Right.
Just going back to the quarterback play, man, we know Aaron Rodgers, he's still a good mobile quarterback, man. He can get out that pocket and he can make some nice plays. Now we come to Tom Brady. Hey, if you can't hit the tame, he gonna hit the ground before you even hit him because he don't want to get hit, and we all know that, And I'll also say I don't know how much of a factor it may make, but the fact that Antonio Brown is not playing, man, over the past 3 games, man, before the season ended, man, he was catching fire, and he was running in like the slot perfectly, and he was able to make some big plays for the Bucks, But at the same time, they have a couple young receivers. Johnson, number 18, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He made a heck of a catch last week to help extend the drive, man. I think Sammy Miller, something like that.
Scotty Miller, yeah.
Scotty Miller, man, he's a nice young receiver, and he's able to make some deep catches. So they have a lot of filling receivers who can take place of Antonio Brown, man. But I would say, man, that once you have that connection with that receiver, it's kind of hard to build another. But it's kind of hard to build another relationship with another one so deep down into a playoff run. But and then to look at it from the Green Bay side, man, we seen Jalen Ramsey last week against Devontae Adams. He didn't do too well against him. So it's kind of like we know Devontae Adams is going to get his own. Now we got to look at the other wide receivers. They have Lazard. So he had a couple key drops last week, but he came through clutch when needed. So as long as he can come through clutch when needed, that's all they need just to complement Devontae Adams. But man, if Tom Brady starts off slow, Aaron Rodgers is gonna run off with this game. He's gonna run off. But yeah, that's how I kind of see it. But for my prediction, man, I don't want to go against Tom Brady, man. Like man. And the thing is that I've never been just like a really real big fan of Tom Brady, but I still see them squeaking this one out 28-27, man.
Okay.
I think it's going to come down to like a final drive. Tom Brady's going to wheel them through, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers giving up easily, man. But this is going to be a close contested game, but when it come down to it, man, Brady has the team that he's been desiring, and he has it. And and I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers is gonna put up a good fight, man, but I can't bet against Tom Brady right now. So I see him pulling out 28-27. What you think?
Yeah, I struggled at it with it too, man, because I'm on one hand, I'm like, man, Aaron Rodgers is having the season of his career, but on the flip side, Tom Brady has seemed to really caught fire. He's really difficult to bet against. I mean, because right when you think somebody's got him down, he finds a way to show, hey, I'm still the GOAT and I'm gonna pull this one out. He's a guy you just simply seem like you can't bet against. But in this game, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a guy that's going to learn from that. I think he's going to come in and be all business. None of the crinkleberry and discount double checks. I think he's going to come in and be about making this a business trip. I think he's going to come in. He's going to take what they give him. Him and Ndamukong Suh to have bad blood. So Ndamukong Suh is going to be a guy that's going to be coming after him. So can he avoid him? Can Bakhtiari's not going to be playing on the Green Bay offensive line. So I mean, who are they going to have that's going to stop guys like JPP and Ndamukong Suh, Devin White? Who's going to be the guys that are going to stop them from getting to Aaron Rodgers? So that's the question that I have for their offensive line. Can they be able to hold up against this pressure? Because they're going to come after him. And if they can't hold up against his pressure, can Matt LaFleur find a way to get quick cheap passes, dumping out in the flat, or picking up these quick curl routes that can make the defense kind of draw back? But on the flip side of that, how can this Tampa Bay defense hold up against guys like Devontae Smith? Who's going to really lock him up? Alan Lazard was a guy that didn't play in the last game. He had some key drops, like you said, last week, but when the money's on the line, he came through. Who's going to be a guy that's going to stop him in that secondary going down? Because that defensive secondary is not very good. They can hold up, they can manage, but it's going to be about, can Matt LaFleur, scheme up some kind of way to make this defense vulnerable, even with the pressure, and can Aaron Rodgers avoid the mistakes that he made last time? Because it wouldn't have been for the 2 interceptions, like you said, they might have ran off with this game because Tom Brady started off very slow. So can they take advantage of them? But on the other side of this, can Tom Brady find a way to get past guys like Preston and Zadarius Smith and this defensive front that's going to be coming after them too? And they've got some cornerbacks that are not the best in the league. They're middle of the pack, but they can hold some of these guys. So can they scheme up a way to make Tom Brady confused, make him hold the ball a little bit until they can get to him? And like you said, make him throw the ball away or make him hit the ground. So I think I think this game's going to come down to who can be the better coach to make the defensive and offensive adjustments, going into halftime, going in and out of drives, who can make those adjustments and what quarterback can stick to the script. At the end of the day, I just think that this is the game that Aaron Rodgers just finds a way to get back to the Super Bowl and try to prove, hey, I'm still there. So I got Green Bay pulling this one out 20-16.
2016. Okay, low scoring game. Yeah. Okay.
20-16. I think they'll get, going pretty quick. I think they'll get to that 20-16 score very early, and then defenses are going to adjust, and then they're going to have to just find a way to get good field position, and who can get the best field goal chance coming down at the end of the game, man. I don't know, man. But I just, at the end of the day, I like to see Green Bay and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I think that's who it's going to be, man. I really do.
It's something that you said too about the coaches, man. Because that Bruce Arians, man. So he said recently that he let Tom Brady play his game or whatnot.
Yeah,
man. Listen, man, just kind of going back, to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, man. They won 6 rings with each other, man. So something had to work, So I'm hoping Bruce Arians let Tom Brady play his game so he's able to be his best out there, man. But at the same time, I hope he didn't, man, I hope he don't have to go back on his words, man, if they have a bad game tomorrow. But him saying that, I wouldn't expect him to say anything like that, But man, but honestly, man, when you winning like that, you probably think you can say just about anything. So
yeah, he's one of those outspoken coaches, and at the end of the day, I think Tampa Bay is also going to have to not only get after, Aaron Rodgers, but they're also going to have to, what they call, play the run on the way to the quarterback, because Aaron Jones, he's the guy that can get going, and then their backup running back that they had, he went buck wild on the Titans, so they're going to have to, keep an eye on them. Are they going to be able to slip them through? But yeah, Bruce Arians is the guy. He says he lets Tom Brady play his own game, but it looks a lot like the same offense they were running with James Winston. And I think if Green Bay can send those young guys flying back there, Bruce Arians' offense is an offense that takes a little bit of time to get open because he's, like he says, all risk it, no biscuit. No risk it, no biscuit. So if they can get to him when he's trying to push the ball down there, it can get ugly. But I don't know, man. We'll just have to see with this game. So you think that Tom Brady and Tampa Bay can get back there and place against the Chiefs? I'm taking Green Bay against the Chiefs. Everybody just tune in, I guess, tomorrow to see how these games go out. And then we'll be looking forward to seeing you all as we preview the Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks. As always, we appreciate you all's support. Send these videos to your friends, to your fellow sports fans. Have them subscribe to us at the BALListic Report on YouTube. Also follow us on Instagram at BALListic Reports. Until next time, thank you.